Hey, Warriors. Pajama day for me. Well, that's not being very honest. Most days are pajama day for me, but today I'm not even going to try. Anyway, I was wanting to talk about something that I've been noticing really in myself. You know, um, and it's pretty uncomfortable to recognize, you know, not because, I've done something wrong, but because I'm human. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to this. But there's moments when my granddaughter, is trying to tell me something or show me something, and I feel irritated. You know what I mean? Not because I don't love her, because I don't care, but because I'm busy, you know, busy doing something that I think is important in that moment. And then there's, times when I'm trying to give her advice that I think is like, you know, real advice. And she's just scrolling on her phone, doesn't even hear me talking. And I feel dismissed, you know? Um, I don't know. Or like when my husband tells me a story for the 10th damn time, you know? And I feel that tightening in my chest, and I'm thinking, yeah, I know, because you've said it 1,000 times already, you know? Um, and none of that makes us bad people, when we do that, but it does, you know, point to something almost that we almost never talk about. How we're absently present, you know? Um, we're physically there, but not with each other. I don't know, and we tell ourselves, it's fine because we believe the moments that matter, are those big moments, weddings, graduations, birthdays, um, holidays, stuff like that. And we think those, are the moments that we'll hold on to, but they're not, you know? Um, I've lost almost all my elders and lost, more young people than anyone ever should. And I can tell you, with absolute certainty, what you remember the most is not the big moments, you remember the way they, I don't know, talked when they were relaxed, or the sound of their voice when they repeated themselves. You know, um, the small stories that you half listen to, those kinds of things. Like I was saying, the moments you were there, but not really there, you know. Um, and what comes later, is this quiet, like, that gut level ache that it's not guilt, but regret almost, because you realize they weren't interrupting your life. They were your life, you know? Um, and the hard part is, you know, we don't become absently present because we don't care. We become absently present because we're freaking overstimulated. We're exhausted. We're living in our fucking heads. We're always thinking about what's coming, what's coming next. So when someone we love shows up in this moment, it feels like an interruption, I guess, instead of an invitation, which is, all it really is. And the same thing happens in reverse, though. When we try to connect with someone who's distracted, we feel unseen, unimportant, small, and suddenly everybody feels alone. It's shit. Everyone's alone, and we're all in the same damn room. That kind of thing. And this isn't about, blaming ourselves, but it is about waking up inside of, I guess, those ordinary moments, because I don't know, presence is not something, that you turn on for, I don't know, special occasions, I guess. Presence, is how you can sit with someone while they repeat themselves 100 times, you know? Putting the phone down when you don't want to. I don't know. I guess presence, for me, is letting that child, ramble without trying to, I don't know, correct her or rush her, you know, listening without preparing a response every time, that kind of thing. And obviously, no, we're not ever going to do it perfectly, I sure as hell don't. But knowing it, you know what I mean? That awareness of knowing that we're doing it, it really does change things because, once you see it, you start catching yourself, you start choosing differently. Not always, but more often, and one day, when the noise is all gone and those rooms are quieter, and those voices you love aren't around anymore, you won't be wishing that you'd answered more emails or, you'll wish you'd listened, more closely, I guess, to what, those moments that felt small, I guess, at the time. Because those, were the moments that mattered the most. I don't know. Anyways, I have no idea why I felt this way or felt I needed to say this today, but I love you guys.